Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today, we got a little bit of drama to talk about. Now, hey, I always love talking about drama. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I think it's entertaining. And again, at the end of the day, obviously, I love watching high-level League of Legends. Like, I think we all do. You know, there were some really, really banger games this past weekend. I'm more kind of thinking about the LCS right now because this is kind of an LCS type video where we had all the Cloud9 games. We had 100 Thieves TL. We had FlyQuest CLG, which ended up being awesome. And obviously, we've had a ton of really, really great LEC games this whole season as well. Rogue keeping their thing going, looking really, really fast and exciting. Vitality's comeback against Astralis. Like, there's been great games all over the place. But again, at the end of the day, it is also supposed to be entertaining. If it was just high level with players that nobody cared about and teams that nobody cared about, we probably wouldn't watch it. We'd go for our competitive itch somewhere else. So you need interesting players, you need interesting personalities, you need interesting people. And every once in a while, those big egos and big fan base and everything, they kind of butt heads. And that's something that, has been happening. It's going to continue to happen, but it's always interesting when it does happen. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us run those numbers up. We're inching up there. We're doing pretty good. It's, kind of a weird time for the channel in between, off season, all the craziness that just happened and kind of just rolling into the seasons and stuff. But hey, any support you guys can give us would be awesome. But either way, we're just going to keep doing our thing. With that being said, let's get right into this. And what we're talking about today is a little bit of beef between Freak and Perkz. I think at the end of the day, it's just some banter. It's just a little bit of trash talk. But man, the fans really, really get into it, and I can't really tell how much, the two guys are getting into it. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a clip for this. But what I did want to talk about was this here. Perkz says, this is during the LCS broadcast, so it was something that Freak said, and I just, I watch most of the LCS and I sit there and I'm watching all the games and stuff, but, sometimes I'm working out, sometimes I'm, going to the grocery store and I'm playing it on my phone or, it's a long weekend if you're just sitting and watching every single second of the LCS. I got a lot of other stuff going on. So I missed this. I didn't see exactly what Freak said, but obviously, and I even just went back to the VODs and I was clicking through the VODs and I literally cannot find this anywhere, but apparently, Freak must have said something along the lines of, will Cloud9 and LS and all these guys be able to fulfill promises that Perkz, wasn't able to do for them last year? Because obviously Perkz came over to the LCS last year talking about how he was going to be the best LCS player, that he was going to win all these trophies, all these titles. He was, going to try to win MSI, going to try and win Worlds, but was also going to win, some LCS titles, I'm sure some MVPs, all this stuff. And that's funny because obviously, he had high expectations coming over. Yes, he was kind of returning to the mid lane. Yes, he was coming over to North America, with a team that he hadn't really had synergy or anything built up with yet. But it's interesting because there's a lot of parallels between what kind of LS is doing with Cloud9. LS is making a big jump, obviously coming over from Korea to Cloud9. And he's making a lot of these same claims. He's saying, hey, we want to be better than Cloud9 was last year. We're going to be better than Cloud9 was last year. And last year, Cloud9 made it to MSI, made it to Worlds, won a title, made it to the quarterfinals. So we need to make it to MSI and Worlds, win 2 titles, make it to semifinals. We just need to keep one-upping them. And that's cool. I think some of that stuff's exciting for LS to come out and say and have confidence in his team and his roster and all this stuff, and set some expectations for the year. But then also, we keep setting these really, really high expectations, like kind of what Perkz did last year, and then ultimately falling short of them. So again, I wish I could show you the clip of what Freak said, but I really can't find it, which is really annoying. I was looking and looking, but hey, I got videos I need to get out, so I gave up. If anyone has it, feel free to link it. I would love to see it. But Perkz, obviously, hey, tuning into the LCS broadcast. He is an LCS alumnus now, so, it's cool to see that he's still keeping an eye on the LCS, still, tuning in. But he said, what do you mean promise Perkz could never do for us? Riot Freak, and then ats him, and he got almost 10,000 likes on Twitter, which is not bad, obviously, especially for a tweet about the LCS. And Perkz said, getting a team out of groups first time in 4 years wasn't enough. KEKW, obviously, before last year, the LCS had gone 3 years of no teams getting out of groups. And then, this was the 4th year where Cloud9 and Perkz did get out of groups. And I thought that was really, really funny. Perkz just calling out Freak during the broadcast while Freak is, still like working and casting and stuff. And then Freak obviously responding back. saying, didn't you say 6 trophies in 2 years? Obviously some bold claims. He said, you didn't get more than 1 in either category. I'm not flaming you. You're a good player. It's fine it didn't work out, but those were your words. And, Freak saying, hey, I'm not even flaming you. You came here. Yeah, you got us out of groups. Yeah, you won a title. I'm just saying, hey, LS is making some claims. Cloud9's making all these promises. Are they going to be able to cash those checks? Perkz wasn't able to. I do feel like it's a little bit random for him to bring up Perkz on the broadcast, and a little bit flamey of him. And, Perkz is in the LEC. Like, how is he even coming up? And that's why I wanted to see the clip. Like, hey, what is Freak even saying here? Like, why? And I think it's really, really interesting because, a ton of people came out in defense of Perkz, saying, oh, Freak is cringe. Oh, Savage Freak, he's trying way too hard to be savage, and he's just calling people out. And, oh, NA fans are so ungrateful. And, oh, Freak's an idiot, yada, yada, yada. And at some times, I think some of the banter is funny, and I get it. EU fans are defensive of any EU players, and they're defensive of Perkz, and, they feel like Freak's coming at him. They want to fire back at him. But also, Perkz has a very, very, kind of toxic or whatever fan base, which I think is very, very interesting. There's a lot of players and teams that obviously have that in esports. For whatever reason, esports brings out a lot of just crazy devoted fans to specific players or teams where you cannot even say anything that could be taken as criticism against them, or you're just going to get, a lot of this hate and stuff levied towards you. So I thought this was a little bit weird. And on one hand, I do think, Freak is maybe, I don't agree with everything Freak says. I think sometimes he tries a little bit too hard. I think he definitely says some stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is supposed to be entertainment. And right now, the LCS and a lot of esports is so overly positive. There's just a bunch of talking heads who can't say anything bad about Riot, can't say anything bad about the game, can't say anything bad about any of the teams, any of the players, because they're going to hurt relationships, hurt their careers, yada, 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 yada. And Freak is one of these guys that's so entrenched in Riot and in the LCS. He's been there for so long that he can actually, go out a little bit and try and be the savage guy, try and be the bad guy, try and be the villain. And I think it is good to have a villain or somebody that, talks a little trash or does a little banter and stuff on the broadcast, because we've had some of these characters around esports previously, and, there's been some villains who I don't think were doing it for entertainment. I really think they were just kind of bad people or really, pieces of shit, and really were people that I'm glad are, for the most part, getting weeded out of esports for the most part. And I don't even need to name names. I think, hey, who came to your mind when I'm even saying that stuff? Says a lot about what I'm talking about. But I think Freak is a good person. I think, yes, he's trying to be Savage Freak. Yes, he might be being a little cringe. Yes, he's probably a dork. Yes, it's a little bit weird, especially, like, who even are you? Why are you coming at Perkz and all this stuff? But again, I think it is good to have some of that give and take, because the LCS and the broadcast stuff are too overly positive. It's too weird. It's too fake. And Freak being real, saying some stuff. And, he even comes out here. He says, hey, you're a good player. It's fine. It didn't work out, but those were your words, which is also kind of, like a backhanded compliment. And like I said, I have been very, very critical of the past year that Perkz had with Cloud9. He had some moments of being a great player. He had very, very few moments, if really any, of being the best Western player of all time for Cloud9, which, what he was hyped up to be, what he was kind of advertised as, and even advertised himself as. Maybe he never said, I'm the best Western player of all time, but, he came saying, I'm going to dominate North America, I'm going to be the best mid, I'm going to be the MVP, I'm going to win all these trophies, all this stuff. And that really didn't happen. He won spring finals against Armeo for Team Liquid because Santorin was having, headaches or whatever, and they won in 5 games, which I think that title has an asterisk on it. Obviously, Perkz fans and Cloud9 fans will argue that it doesn't. They went to MSI, got just rolled, and Perkz played pretty terribly. He had just a bad MSI. If some Perkz fan wants to tell me that Perkz had a good MSI, that would blow my mind. I think even Perkz fans could admit, hey, he was pretty terrible at MSI. Then summer split, regular season, Cloud9 wasn't that good, Perkz wasn't that good. Summer playoffs, Cloud9 is down 2-1 to TSM, a TSM team that everyone, even TSM fans say that 2021 TSM team was not very good, not a team that many people are proud of. TSM is up 2-1 on Cloud9 and winning game 4 and about to close it out before they just absolutely throw and even give Cloud9 a chance to make Worlds in the first place. Cloud9 gets into a group where FPX just decides to shit the bed. They end up in a group with Rogue, who is, Chogue or whatever. And yes, Cloud9 had to show up. They had to win their games. That's awesome. But they go to quarters. They get 3-0'd. Like, hey, Perkz, you're not the first player to ever get out of groups in North America. We've had teams get out of groups. We've had teams do better than getting 3-0'd in the corners. We've even had a team make it to semis. Like, yeah, North America maybe had been a little bit rough in the past couple of seasons, but you were 1 or 2 plays away from being in that exact same boat. And also, League of Legends is a team game. It's not like Perkz backpacked Cloud9 out of groups. It's not like he backpacked them to Worlds. No, he was just a part of the team that did a lot of that stuff. So I totally get this on both sides. Overall, I think it's fun. I think it's funny. I love that Perkz even tweeted this out in the first place, because I think it's, again, really, really funny and hilarious to just say that in the middle of the broadcast while Freak, is like actually doing the LCS and working and stuff. And I thought it was funny, and I'm glad, Freak, Perkz having some banter, going back and forth. Overall, really random, really weird story. But I, think people will have some opinions about it for sure. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Is it cringe that Freak is calling out Perkz and saying stuff about him? Or do you think we should have more kind of banter between players, casters, commentators, personalities, all this stuff? I don't know. I think it makes it pretty interesting. And hey, Perkz got to farm, 10,000 likes off this tweet, so that's not a bad day for him. Subscribe to him today and all the latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.